Hey guys, this is Mr. Sal. We're going to go over the conversions reality check. So it looks like we'll be taking a little trip and we've got to figure out some of the money conversions on this. Let's go and read the top here. For this project, you will be practicing using conversions in a real-life situation. Instructions. Answer each question completely on a separate sheet of paper. Show your work in a neat and orderly manner. Write your answers below. Attach your worksheet to this page if we need it. So number one, list a foreign city and country you'd like to travel to, and you get to choose whatever country you want and even whatever currency you want. But for this assignment, in the past, in other classes, we've used Cancun, Mexico, and just by doing a simple Google search for part 2 here, so look up what kind of currency that country uses. And we know it's in Mexico, so they use the peso. Now, keep in mind also that I've never been to Cancun, so just, if they do use some other form of currency there, then that's okay. But I'm just simply going to be using the peso for this case, because on Google it says that they use the peso. All right. So look up the conversion. Look up the current conversion rate from U.S. dollars to, in this case, pesos. And you can see here in the top right where I've put my search there for the Mexican peso. It says that it's 24.4 Mexican pesos for 1 United States dollar. So we'll fill this in 2B there. So we filled that in, and again, you guys know that I'm not familiar with peso, so I could have spelled that incorrectly. But moving on to number 3, set a reasonable budget for the trip. Determine the budget in the currency of that country in order to receive credit. We'll show all of our work for these steps. So we're going to need this conversion factor up here that we just created. 1 US dollar is 24.4 pesos. So just real quick, referring to previous classes, especially for this Cancun vacation or trip that we're taking here, other students says that it was reasonable to have like I guess a $5,000 budget. So that's what I'm going to be using on this one. So we're going to take that $5,000 and we're going to convert it into pesos. Now we need to go back and remember that this really is a fraction of 5,000 over 1. And we're going to multiply it by the conversion factor of 24.4 pesos to 1 US dollar. And we see that in this conversion right now, the $5,000, that's in the numerator. So I need the denominator to have the dollar symbol cancel out. And the conversion factor shows 1 US dollar for 24.4 pesos. Now, I'm not familiar with the symbol for peso, so I'm just going to use P. And right here, we can see just from that much that the dollar sign is going to cancel away. So I'm going to multiply these out. I've got 1 times 1 is 1. I'm not really worried about that. We'll make that a phantom 1. But I've got 5,000 times 24.4. So I just put that in my calculator. I get 122,000 pesos. So that would be our answer for this problem. So that completes number 3. On number 4, you estimate that you will need to rent a car and assume that you'll drive about 5,000 miles. How many kilometers is this? So looking at the worksheet that had these conversion for us, there is a direct conversion from kilometers to miles right here. 1 kilometer is 0.621 miles. So we need to figure out how many kilometers 500 miles is. So I set this up. I've got 500 miles, right? Now remember, I usually show this as a fraction because that's what we're using here is fraction multiplication to convert this. And we're multiplying it really by a factor of 1 because 1 kilometer equals 0.621 miles, and anything divided by itself is 1. Now here we see the miles in the numerator, so I need miles in the denominator. and we are converting this to kilometers. So the conversion factor shows 1 kilometer is 0.621 miles. And from this, I know that the miles will cancel, because I have one in the numerator and one in the denominator, so they will cross simplify. Now at this point we got fraction multiplication, so 500 times 1 is 500. 1 times 0.621 equals 0.621, and this is in kilometers. So I'll put this in the calculator and see what I get. So in my calculator I get about 805 and 1500ths of a kilometer. I'm just going to round this to 805, by the way. So 805 kilometers right there. And that would be the conversion showing all this work. Next up, number 5, if you are charged 25 cents per mile, how much will you pay in the currency of your chosen country? Now, we need to remember that we already know that we're going to go 500 miles, right? So, what we're going to do is we're going to take the 500 miles and we're going to multiply this. And I'm going to show this as a fraction, alright? So, it's $0.25 per 1 mile. Now, you see when we show this as a fraction that the miles are going to cancel, which leaves us with a label of dollars. So from here I do 500 times 0.25, and again, just from my calculator, when I put that in there, it gives me $125. Now, that would be in US dollars, right? But we're going to make this conversion into the currency of the chosen country, right? Which shows up here is 24.4 pesos per 1 US dollar. So we're going to convert this. Again, I know it's 1 US dollar. I have to have that in the denominator so that they'll cancel. And we're going to convert this into pesos. 24.4 pesos. So once again, the dollar signs is going to cancel out. I'm left with just pesos, and when I put this into the calculator, it came out exactly as 3050 or 3,050 pesos. Alright, next up, number 6, find the amount of travel time you will need to get to your chosen city. To do so, you'll want to look up flights and travel times to and from the airport. Record the various amounts of time you will be traveling, don't include layovers, and then find the total amount of time traveling from your house to your desired location, including the time meant to the city or hotel. You may need to use more or less lines or legs than those listed below. So automatically, even if it's just a direct flight, there should be at least 3 legs on this. One from home to the airport, and the next would be from the flight, in this case from Salt Lake to Cancun, and then from the airport in Cancun to whatever hotel you want to stay at. Now for this specific example, I'm going to be using just the Taylorsville Salt Lake Community College campus to the airport, which isn't very far. Of course, you'd want to Google your house, but when I Google it from the Taylorsville campus to the airport, now there's a short trip and that's okay, but this right here, it shows at the bottom there, it's 12 minutes, so 0 hours, 12 minutes to get from the Slick campus in Taylorsville to the airport. I just went to one of those websites that puts out a bunch of times, so this is what I got. Now it looks like we got a couple choices in this example. You either got Delta or Aeromexico. But both of them, and this is the nice thing, is both of them show that it's a non-stop flight that takes 4 hours and 30 minutes. Both of them show that there in red. So this would be from the Salt Lake City Airport to Cancun, which I think was CAN on that website. Actually, it looks like it's CUN, so Cancun right there. And we'll just put this time in there, which shows it's at 4 hours and 30 minutes. Now the next thing I'm going to need to do is to Google a hotel in Cancun. So when I put it in Google, this is the list that came up, and for me, I'm going to be using just the Hard Rock Hotel in Cancun right there. So I need to Google that in the location and compare it in distance with the Cancun airport, and we'll just figure out how long it takes to get by Google from the airport to this hotel. And this is going to work out great for us because right here it shows that it's going to be 18 minutes right there to get from the Cancun airport to the hotel in this case. And it shows it's just simply 18 minutes. So 0 hours, 18 minutes on this. And maybe some of you guys have been there, maybe not. But it looks like that's the map to get from the Cancun airport to this specific hotel. 18 minutes. Now, the last thing we need to do is just add all of these together to figure out the total number of hours and minutes. So I don't really need these other two legs. If you did, for example, if you made some kind of layover stop at a different airport, then yeah, you'd need these, one of these two, or maybe even both of these two legs. But I'm just looking at a direct flight from Salt Lake to Cancun. So we're going to add these together, starting with the minutes. Okay, so 2 plus 8, that's 10. Carry this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 60 minutes, and 0 plus 4 plus 0 is 4 hours. Now, the 60 minutes right there, and I didn't know that this was going to turn out this way, but it did, and it's kind of good. 60 minutes, right? This is the same as 1 hour. So if I subtract that hour and just add it into the hours, this would be a little bit more proper. Then it would show that it would take 5 hours and 0 minutes. Now, of course, this would be constant travel, right? Like if you could go straight to the airport, jump on the plane, it takes off, it lands, you jump in the car, you go straight to the hotel. Bam, you could be in the hotel in 5 hours and 0 minutes, which I think is pretty cool. But of course, this is unrealistic because you got to get to the airport early. You got to have time to go through the security. You'll probably have layovers. You may or may not. And then to say that the flight takes exactly 4 hours, 30 minutes. Sometimes it's shorter, but then you got to get out. You got to get your bags. And then you got to find a taxi or some way to get to the hotel. Okay, so... but in, I guess, pure travel time, this would be about 5 hours there. So that is the answer for number 6. Hopefully this helped you guys out to complete the Module 6 reality check for conversions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.